Here's a little lesson on Bonding 101. Bonding can be very confusing, so here are a few ways to learn about bonding. An ionic bond is when two atoms give and take electrons in order to create a negative and a positive atom that will be able to create a mutual understanding and bond. Here's some examples of ionic properties. Ionic bonds properties include high melting and boiling point, conduct electricity in water, made of crystals, often soluble in water, and is between a metal and nonmetal. Here's an example that we can go off of. So the scenario is, Michael is trying to buy lunch. His lunch costs $10 and he only has $5, while Andrew has $15 and wants to be friends. In this case, Andrew will give Michael $5 so he can buy lunch and become friends. So breaking down the situation, Michael and Andrew were acting as atoms, and the money shared between the two acted as electrons. Because Michael had less money/electrons, he was positive, and Andrew had more money/electrons, so he was negative. When Andrew gave his money to Michael, he was making it so that he and John could have equal money/electrons and could now be friends/bond. Let's try something a bit easier like covalent bonds. A covalent bond's properties include that they aren't very soluble, they have lower melting and boiling points than ionic bonds, and covalent bonds are between two nonmetal atoms and the electrons are shared between two atoms. There are two types of covalent bonds. First, the nonpolar bond, which is when two atoms with the same amount of electronegativity come together and share their electrons with each other. Here's an example of this. So the scenario is that let's say you're playing a card game. There are 52 cards in a deck, and you and your partner play and share all of the cards. So to break down this example, each person in the game acts as an atom, and the cards act as electrons. If we each have the same amount of cards and are sharing all of what we have in what's in the rest of the deck, it shows that the two atoms equally share electrons, allowing them to bond together, creating a nonpolar bond. Now the other type of covalent bond is the polar bond, which means that one atom has more electronegativity and therefore takes the electrons from the other atom. To break down this example, the two people act as atoms and the group of people act as electrons. At first, the electrons surround the positive atom to balance it out, but when they notice the other atom with more electronegativity, the electrons will all go toward that one atom, causing a polar covalent bond. The metallic bond properties include high melting and boiling points, they conduct electricity and heat, they are hard and dense. Malleable metallic bond is between two metal atoms and it releases its electrons into the sea of electrons. These electrons move freely from one atom to another. I've done Chinese, that's like about it. So we have tomorrow. You what? We have our Chinese oral exam tomorrow.
Oh, so do we.
I took
and
mine.
he told us about it today.
I took a vocab test.
For Spanish.
To break this down, we can see that each person acts as an atom and the ideas shared act as the electrons that are moving and being shared through everybody.